Hi, Jess. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Happy Monday.
Thanks.
How's your day going?
Good. It's very busy.
Oh my gosh, I bet. A normal Monday?
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of classes?
Yeah, I had 4 today.
Okay, that's a good amount. All right. Well, welcome. It's so nice to see you again. So I just want to give you a little reminder about the confidentiality statement. Again, anything you say today will remain here. It'll stay here. Unless you're going to hurt yourself or others, then I will have to report it to my supervisor to handle the situation properly. And also, the forms that we fill out today will remain within this agency. Only the social workers employed here will have access to it. All right? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what we discussed last time I saw you. You had mentioned that you lost your job, and you were in the process of trying to look for a new job because of your current expenses and having to support living on your own.
Yeah.
Okay. Has anything changed since I last saw you?
I don't think so. I don't think too much has changed.
Okay. All right. And I know you had mentioned that you were still in the process of applying for jobs. What have you heard from jobs? Have you heard back yet?
I've applied to about 4 jobs since we last spoke, and I haven't heard from anyone yet. But I'm not really sure. I have to wait for them to contact me.
Definitely. Have you made like follow-up calls, visits with these places?
I have with 2 of them. But
Okay.
Not the rest. I was going to do that sometime this week.
Awesome. That's good that you have it planned out. Do you think that, or do you know that if they're all waitressing jobs? Because I know that was your previous place of employment.
2 of them are waitressing, and then 2 others are hosting.
Okay. So all in the food industry?
Food industry.
All right. That's good because you have the experience already in there. So it'll be good that you already have that experience, so it'll make you more marketable as an employer. Awesome. Are there any new challenges that you're facing in your life right now based on these situations, or are things kind of stagnant?
It's just, I guess I would say it's more stressful because my savings is kind of dwindling down.
Yes, I bet. All right. And your living situation, is it still the same?
Yes.
Okay, so you and your sister. Right. And how's your sister doing?
She is good. She's doing she's finishing her first semester in school. So.
Awesome. And you said she was at St. Rose?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Awesome. Okay. So the goal for today's session is we really want to identify the basic needs that you need to get fulfilled and what those problems are, and then I want us to think in kind of like goal terms. So we're going to place goals today, and then we're going to figure out how we can get those met, when we can get them met by, so that these problems that you're facing, we can hopefully cancel them out.
Perfect.
Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right. So today I want us to focus on 2 goals, or 2 kind of need statements. So we're going to break it down, and I'm going to do the first one. So one problem that you think you're facing, what do you think like the biggest one would be?
Like while looking for the job?
In your life right now, if someone said like, what's the biggest problem in your life?
Probably trying to manage like finding a job and going to school.
Okay, so like the stress of that? Right.
Just scheduling, I guess.
Okay. And how are you feeling about this whole process about school?
Like while we're going to school?
Yeah, like how are you feeling right now in the moment?
I'm okay. I mean, school is kind of like it's almost the end of the semester, so it's kind of ramping up a little bit. So it's kind of getting a little more intense than usual.
Yes, I bet, definitely. All right. And when you throw in the job search thing, do you think that that's adding to your stress, or do you think that it's exciting?
Adding, I would say.
Adding? Okay. All right. So if you were going to put this in kind of like a need statement, what is something that you need in order to make sure that the anxious feelings that you are experiencing right now kind of go away or are settled?
I would say just like a stable income.
Stable income, okay.
Because obviously this isn't my dream job.
Yeah.
But I need something to pay for textbooks.
Okay, definitely. And when you're talking about feeling this stress and anxiety, how do you think that manifests? Like, what does anxiety look like in terms of how you kind of show that you're stressed? Like, what are some of your stress symptoms?
I would say I get headaches, probably loss of sleep because you're worrying about things like that. But then again, I'm also spending a lot of time studying, so. I would say that's probably it.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Right. And are there things that have worked in the past for you in terms of how you balance your stress?
It depends. Sometimes I do like meditation.
Okay.
But as of lately, because at the end of the semester, I've been a little too busy.
Mm-hmm. And I bet with all the job applications as well as trying to balance your homework, we all know the end of the semester is absolutely crazy, so that makes total sense. Okay, so in terms of this need statement, you feel as if a stable income would help alleviate some of your stress?
Yes.
Okay, and how do you think that if you were going to try to think of a way in which you could maintain a not stressful environment, how do you think you want to kind of work on managing that stress? Like, what are some ways in which you think your stress could be managed?
I guess I would say planning out things.
Okay.
More. I think scheduling, like having a definite plan, eases stress a lot.
Okay. Are you a type of person that has made plans and schedules in the past, or is that something new?
Pretty organized.
And do you think that towards the end of the semester you're maybe falling behind in those things? Okay. So maybe you would want to kind of stay on top of that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So let's try to make some goals. So let's say in a certain amount of time you don't want to feel this stress anymore.
Yeah.
So when we're making a goal, we want to make sure that it's really specific to what we're trying to talk about.
Okay.
And we want to make it realistic.
Yeah.
And we also want to make sure that we have it accomplished by a certain deadline.
Okay.
So in terms of a goal relating to managing your stress, what do we think this goal could be?
Finding a job by the end of the month.
Okay. By the end of the month. All right. And do we have another goal maybe that could help kind of measure your stress levels?
Measure them?
How about, so let's say do you have an activity that you really love that doesn't bring you any stress, it brings you joy, it helps calm you down?
Let's see. Reading.
Reading. Awesome. That's wonderful. Do you think that school helps give you time to read, or do you think that because of your course load and all your employment searches, do you think you're running out of time to do that?
I think I'm running out of time.
Okay. So maybe one of our goals in terms of your stress level could be maybe we could find a book club that you could join.
Okay.
Maybe you set out to read X amount of books by this amount of time.
Okay.
Would that sound like a kind of a fun way to de-stress? Yeah. Okay. Do you have a favorite book?
Not off the top of my head. I've never been good at picking out favorites.
That's all right. Okay. So the next part of this service plan is we want to think of action steps. So these are specific kind of steps or protocol that we have to take in order to accomplish this goal.
Okay.
So let's start by doing the reading or the books. So what are some steps that you need to take in order to get to this end goal of not being stressed and doing things that you like for fun?
I think it would be good to join like a book club or something like that. That would be a good plan. I'm sure they have them at school.
Yeah, I'm sure Siena College has one. So maybe we could get in contact with maybe someone in the English department.
Yeah.
They could set you up with someone. Do you know if there's a club fair coming up on your campus?
I think they do them at the beginning of the semester.
Okay. All right. So maybe even contacting an admissions counselor, that would be kind of beneficial to get some more information. I know for me personally, whenever I join something that I'm really passionate about, you look forward to going to those events. So if you love reading, hopefully a book club or a form of club that has to do with your passions would be really exciting, and you'd look forward to going to it. Definitely. All right, let's think. What else? So another action step in terms of how are we going to get you to not be so overwhelmed. You were mentioning previously that organizing and scheduling is super important.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's a way in which maybe that could be an action step?
Yeah, I think maybe if I got like a planner or something, it would help like organize everything I have to do school-wise, and it helps scheduling when I do actually get a job.
Definitely. And that's important what you just said when, because the job search itself can be stressful,
Yeah.
but when you get a job, having those hours and really keeping track of your time, your to-do lists, so that's a good one. And in addition to a planner, maybe like an online calendar.
Yeah.
Is that something that you use? Or?
Yeah, I would say so. I usually keep it for appointments, and I don't really transfer it to other things, but
Okay.
I definitely could do that.
Yeah. Online calendars can tend to be good. You could put in like the classes you have and the hours that you're working, and it can usually notify your phone.
Yeah.
Some people don't like to put in like their assignments and stuff in that, but as you mentioned before, a planner, that would be super helpful in that case. Okay, so in terms of measuring this goal, sometimes stress is hard to measure because it manifests differently in everyone. But how do you think we can measure this goal of kind of de-stressing? Do you think that you want to measure it by like X amount of time? You will have
Like
spent a certain amount of time
I would say
in this
that.
club, or how would you want to do that?
Maybe by like the books I've read, how
Okay.
many I've read, I guess. Would be trying to think of a number because you can't count stress.
Yeah. No, it's definitely hard to measure something as abstract as overwhelmingness.
Yeah.
So, how about by a certain amount of time you want to join the book club, and then
Yeah. Maybe within the next 2 weeks. And then read, I don't know, 5 books by the end of the month.
Okay. And I know sometimes things come up in life.
Yeah.
So, reading 5 books, it's an amazing accomplishment. Don't be too hard on yourself if you can't finish all 5 of those books based on a school assignment.
Yeah.
But it is good to set out on having that goal and knowing that it's going to put you in a more positive place. So I think that's important. And again, so that anticipated timeline, again, you're saying kind of in the next 2 weeks you want to get out of your comfort zone, go join that book club, and then hopefully within the next month or so you'll have some new books kind of under your belt. Wonderful. So I think that that's a great service plan for that first one. So I want us to think of another problem that you consider one of kind of like the biggest problems in your life. So we talked about stress, and I know you also mentioned income in the beginning. Do you think that that is another one of your biggest problems right now, like the finances, or do you think that there's one that kind of outweighs that?
No, I would say jobs and finances.
Okay.
Because without a job, there's not much money coming in.
Yes, definitely. And I know in our previous session we had gone through kind of like your finances and what your expenses are currently. So you are living by yourself or living on your own. So having to pay for your utilities, gas money, all of that. The income is definitely needed. Okay, so how can we put this problem of not having enough money into kind of a need statement? So what do you need?
I would say a stable income.
Okay. And you need the stable income by having a job, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So some goals that are going to help you achieve a stable income by having a job.
Yeah.
What are some of those? I think the obvious one is
getting
a job. Okay, and you have put in some steps in towards reaching that goal, which is great. Okay. As well as getting a job, what other kind of goals kind of relate to the finance aspect?
Maybe cutting spending.
Okay. So kind of saving money, budgeting, all of that. Okay. Wonderful. So, again, we're going to kind of go into those action steps So these can be very detailed steps in which you're going to achieve these goals.
Okay.
So what are some things that need to be done in order to get a job?
Apply for jobs.
Okay, apply. And before you even apply, what are some things that usually kind of job applications are requiring?
Oh, I would say like forming a resume.
Resume, okay.
Making sure it's up to date.
Up to date resume, that's important. Have you run into any jobs that require a cover letter?
Not yet. I don't
Okay.
think so because they're not like formal jobs. They're just like
just part-time.
Mhm.
Okay. So you also, that brings up another point, you have to know kind of the specifics of a job that you want. And I know we last talked about your kind of college schedule and how that would mix with a job. So you wanted part-time. Do the nights still work? Is that the time frame that we're looking at? Okay.
Although with summer approaching, I could do days as well.
That's true, because your schedule does change.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to make note of. I'm telling a future employer that so they're aware. All right. So you also, what is another kind of step that goes into the job? Once you send in your application, there might be an interview.
Yeah.
So how do you feel in terms of interviews? Is that something you're really comfortable with?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Fairly good at it.
Would you be interested in doing more kind of like, we could do an interview role play later on in another session to kind of get that practice? That's something that our agency offers with a lot of clients. We can do like a mock interview just to make sure that you're fully prepared when you go into that career interview.
Okay.
But again, that is totally up to you.
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay. What about in terms of the saving, kind of budgeting your finances? What are kind of some action steps you think you could take in terms of getting to that goal?
I would say trying to save money on like groceries, trying not to waste too much food.
Okay.
What's something else? I guess plan better for how much money you have for the month, and then how much I can spend on the important things.
Okay. Do you currently do anything like month by month to kind of like organize your savings / spendings?
My bills are due at like the first of the month, so I try to like do a little math and like count like, oh, I need rent, utilities, car insurance, and I try to all write it down and like strategize how I'm gonna pay.
That's really smart. Okay. So maybe continuing to do those kind of sit downs, make sure you're planning out and organizing all of that. That's smart. Okay. So how do we think we want to measure this? So do we want to measure it by you having a set job, kind of like locking down a career, or do we want to measure it in terms of by this month I hope to have X amount of money put in a saving account?
I would say probably like finding a job first.
Okay.
Then it could transfer into saving.
Okay, so you want to measure it by locking down a job, and do we have kind of like an anticipated time frame?
I would say today's the 8th, so definitely I would say by the end of the month, because that's probably when my savings would run out entirely.
Okay. Okay, and in a situation where a month was not enough time to kind of lock down this job, do you have savings to fall back on? Do you have financial support from other people, or kind of like what would that situation look like?
I do. I guess I would say I have people to fall back on because I could go move back in with my parents since school is over for the semester. But I would rather not.
Yeah, definitely. No, that makes sense. But that's good to know that you have the option available. Okay. So do you have any questions kind of about this service plan that we laid out?
I don't think so. I think you've explained it pretty well.
Okay, wonderful. So what I'm going to have you do is we're going to put this on in your file. I can also, before you leave today, I can make a copy of this and send a copy home with you if you would like that.
Great.
But I'm going to have you sign this service plan. I know I was the one doing the writing, but we worked together to kind of create that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. So our time is wrapping up today. Do you have any follow-up questions before we depart?
No, I don't think so. I think you've explained everything pretty well.
Okay, so I think we should set another meeting probably next week maybe.
Okay.
I would love to maybe sit down, kind of create an updated resume, maybe do a mock interview.
Yeah, okay.
And we can kind of check in with how you're doing in terms of managing the stress, as well as kind of creating a budget for your finances right now versus what they will be once you have a job.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. How does your schedule look next week? Is any day work well?
Tuesdays are good.
Tuesday? Okay. And what time?
Anytime you're free. I'm
Right. Does Tuesday at 1 o'clock work?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. Awesome. Well, Jessica, have a great
Thank you,
rest of your
you too.
day. See you later.
Thank you.